What's up, everybody? I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor Show, and Atlas. They are linked, as always, in the description to this video, so go ahead and check them out. They help make these possible, so we want to give another big thanks and a shout out to them. So we do have Houston severe chances today, hail in the central plains as well as severe weather through the southern states, including south central Texas, as well as parts of Florida, Mississippi, Alabama. We're going to talk all about it. And then not going to jinx the name of the city tomorrow because y'all like to come at me when we talk about it, but there is a specific Missouri city in the hail risk for tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. That's coming after today's risks. And then we're going to talk about our climate updates, including the drought monitors and the tropics, and see what's on the horizon for those. But first, before all of our weather, getting into the OU versus UTEP tailgate event. And I'm realizing that I'm partly see-through, so that's neat. All right, so we've got a OU versus UTEP tailgate in Norman, Oklahoma on the Bud Wilkinson House on Jenkins. It's going to be right over by that. And that is September 3rd. Hail Trace likes to do some fun tailgate events to kind of meet everybody and also enjoy some football. So we got free food, free beer, we got cornhole. So come out and see us there. It's going to be a great time, and you get a chance to win some box seats as well. So make sure to go ahead and meet us at the OU versus UTEP tailgate. And then we've got more in the season if you can't make that one, and we'll have our announcements for that as well. Then after that, we are going to be at the RCAT MRCA Roofing Conference in Fort Worth. That's going to be at the Fort Worth Convention Center on September 27th through the 29th. So we're going to keep reminding you guys of that. But go ahead and mark your calendars early if you guys want to get out to Texas and see us there. Then going into yesterday, we had more storm reports than we've been seeing for the past few days here, but it's still pretty isolated. We're getting into the slow season, kind of resurgence of severe weather season for the fall, but it's usually still slower than the spring. So we did have some severe weather reports coming in and out of the Dakotas as well as parts of the South. For the northern states, we got a scattering of severe hail through Minnesota. St. Paul actually did get hit with some severe weather, but it went right through like the rural river part of St. Paul, so didn't really do a ton in terms of impacts, but there was some severe hail through Minnesota, as well as some gusty winds and hail reports through the northern and southern Dakotas, towards Rapid City as well. Then into Texas and the Gulf states. Scattering of mostly subsevere reports, but there was a little bit of severe hail along I-20 through eastern Texas, so that's noteworthy from yesterday. Then we're going to see more of the same today in terms of a central plains risk as well as a southern risk. So there's that cold front continuing to make its way down to the south, but for the northern states, we've got that secondary low pressure system that caused our storms through the Dakotas yesterday. That's continuing to track off to the south and east, and you'll actually be able to see it spinning away if you check out the northern and southern Dakota and Minnesota corridor there. You can kind of see that low pressure spinning, and it's going to continue to form some storms more towards the Nebraska area as the evening goes on. So we're going to take a look at that here soon. And then along with our cold front, that's starting to make its way off the coast for most of us, but we will continue to see some storms through Florida associated with the cold front as well as the sea breeze, and then off to the east, continuing to see severe storms as the afternoon goes on. So in terms of humidity, it's been a lot more pleasant through most of the nation. A lot of us got those smiley face emojis, so that's good news. St. Louis, Topeka, all the way into New York City and Augusta. You guys are probably feeling pretty good outside, a little bit less humid than it has been. And then even once you get down in the south, it's, a little bit better. Humid in Atlanta, humid in Dallas, and just a little bit muggy in Oklahoma City. So not too bad by 5 p.m. today as you're getting out of work. And then as the night goes on, we'll start to see it pick up a little bit in terms of humidity as that, humidity starts to return from the Gulf, and then hopefully another low pressure swings through and knocks it out of the way. But in terms of how it feels outside, again, a lot more pleasant than we have been. We've been seeing so many triple-digit temperatures and even higher than that in terms of feels-like temperatures. And right now, we're mostly in the low 80s across most of the nation here, all the way from Oklahoma City into Detroit, into Philadelphia, even Tallahassee. Then once you get down into the southern part of Texas and the southern part of Florida, that's really the only area where you're going to see a spike in those feels-like temperatures for right now. So again, pretty much pleasant conditions across pretty much most of the country, so we have that to be thankful for. And then moving into our significant hail model for today, that humidity as well as that heat that's been rebuilding through most of the nation is stirring up some hail chances, and fortunately with that northern low pressure system, we do have cold enough upper air temperatures to help us out with getting some hail. So we're seeing that here on our significant hail model, starting to get those yellows and those warm colors around Sioux Falls by around the time these storms initiate around 6 p.m. Then as they go, again, you kind of lose that instability as those storms kind of feed off of it, and we're going to see the sun start going down. So we're going to have a very short period of time for those storms to form severe hail, but we do have some large hail possible into tonight. So here's that short period of time we're talking about, okay? So here we are at noon, and then as those storms go, you can see them starting to spread down south and west into Nebraska, initiating through the area by around 4 p.m. Central Time. As they go, there they go, developing once they move towards Omaha. So there we are at 5:30, only an hour and a half later, and then they fizzle out as soon as they get towards Omaha. So a very short period of time that we'll see hail possible. So we got to keep everybody on the low end chances because of that, but we could get some large hail. And then as those storms continue off to the south and east, we'll see them band up, but quickly fizzle out once they move into Wisconsin, Iowa, and then eventually Illinois. Then for the south and the south central plains, got more coverage of storms as usual. We've been seeing this band kind of linger through the area for the past few days. Not really changing much today. As the afternoon goes forward, here we are at 2:30 Central Time, starting to see more coverage of a little bit more intensity of storms. So around New Orleans, around central Alabama, all the way into Houston, we're getting some storms that have the potential to go severe warned into the early afternoon. That's going to continue into 4:30, now making a run at New Orleans, and storms making their way into Houston by 4:30. And then as they continue to track off to the east, we'll see them start to dissipate by the late overnight hours, and then it should be a pretty quiet morning with some cooler weather and some rain from the last night. So here's what we have for hail. Going to focus mostly on that northern risk here. I'm going to throw some orange on the map there for you guys. Ping pong to golf ball size stones possible while those storms initially form. Again, short-lived, so leaving Grand Island, Hastings, and Sioux Falls on the low end of seeing hail today, but with those isolated cells that form, we could see up to golf balls with those stones. Then in terms of wind, going to include our northern risk there through the north central plains, as well as putting one out for Louisiana, Texas, and one more for Florida with those sea breeze storms. So if you guys are in the southwest corridor of Minnesota all the way down into northern Kansas, any of those storms could develop some gusty winds, particularly northward through Minnesota, and then they get more and more scattered once they move out towards North Platte. But then down into Texas and Louisiana, once again, low-end chances across the board. We've been watching this system for the past few days, and it is producing severe weather, but it's very scattered, so that's kind of why we're leaving you guys on the low end, all the way from Houston, San Antonio, into New Orleans. Then jumping off into Florida, anywhere from Savannah all the way down into Melbourne could get some severe winds into tonight, again, with those sea breeze storms and with the far eastern edge of that, cold front. Then into tomorrow. That cold front will be off the Gulf, so we won't really see as much of an influence from that. So southern states starting to build back into that heat. But for the northern states, again, we have that low pressure system, and you can really see it there kind of spinning away through Minnesota, but that's going to continue to cause some severe weather chances through Iowa, through Missouri, and into the Kansas corridor. So here's our storm starting out by 4 p.m., starting to get those isolated cells forming around the Des Moines area and just to the south and west of Omaha. Those will continue off to the south and east. There we are again, only an hour and a half later, and now we've got 4 isolated supercells showing up, and again, that could change, but isolated supercells showing up on the Nebraska and Kansas border pretty quickly. Those are developing, as well as jumping just to the east of Des Moines now, but we're starting to see these kind of band up as they go. And then just some heavy rain moving through Kansas at the time, but then we got a chance for those cells to jump eastward into Missouri as well as towards Davenport by 9:30, and then off into Illinois by the late night, early morning hours. So for hail for tomorrow, going to look at anywhere from Wisconsin all the way down into Kansas. For now, chances of quarters to half dollars. You know, if these cells continue to initiate and remain isolated through the model runs from today into tomorrow, we could see another upgrade on size for this. But right now, looking at just quarters to half dollars anywhere from Des Moines into the city that won't be named, and then down into Wichita for tomorrow. Then we're going to have another chance of wind with that, shifting it a little bit farther to the east to account for those storms banding up and then tracking that way. But once again, if you guys are in any of the areas around or that are highlighted here, then you have a chance of damaging winds with those storms as they track through tomorrow afternoon. So then I'm going to leave you guys just with some climate data here. We've been sitting in drought conditions for the past ever, it seems. Pretty much the summertime is really hard on the southern plains and the west. So we're in, severe extreme drought through most of Texas and southern Oklahoma, even exceptional drought conditions through a lot of Texas and parts of California. So super dry, but we do have a chance at seeing above average rain for the next 6 to 10 days. So that could help us out through the central plains here. Most of us out east are pretty much okay, maybe in a little bit of a drought, just a little bit dry out there. But if you guys are in the west, this is pretty typical for this time of year, sitting in those dry conditions. If you guys are in southern Texas, we do have some tropical chances for you we'll talk about in a second. And with those, you could get a little bit of rain. Austin, Texas, yeah, you guys have a chance of possibly damaging winds into tonight with that cold front that's going to continue sinking southward. So the whole Austin, San Antonio, Killeen corridor, you guys could get some severe weather tonight, but it'll be very scattered. So jumping into the jet stream versus the heat dome that we've been watching for the past few days, this jet stream has been helping us with those severe chances through the Mississippi Valley and the Northeast for, yesterday, today, into tomorrow. It's going to continue to swing off to the south and east, and that's going to help cool us down here. So here we are by noon on Saturday. That jet stream's continuing to push southward and eastward into the Ohio Valley and the central Mississippi Valley, and it kind of squeezes that heat dome out to the west. So that's helping us a lot in the east with that heat and that humidity. So that's what you're looking at on Saturday, going to be very hot and dry, continued through the western parts of the nation as well as the south central states. But out east it should be a lot more pleasant. Now that's going to kind of start to change a little bit into the end of the weekend. This low pressure system is making its way off to the east as they tend to do. And as it does, it allows the heat dome to scoop back to the east along with it. So you're going to see this continue to start expanding and contracting as we start to get more of these low pressure systems moving through over and over. But that does mean an active weather pattern could be jumping back into the horizon. While this jet stream interacts with this heat dome, we tend to get storms where you get those different air masses. So, got some good news, got some bad news, got some heat that could be returning, hopefully not back into the hundreds, but with it could be storm chances on Sunday for the north and east, as well as the Pacific Northwest. And then that's going to continue into Monday, more Pacific Northwest chances, as well as more chances for the East Coast and the Northeast. And we'll see what can happen with these coming troughs moving through. So just going to leave you guys with the tropical chances in the Gulf of Mexico, and then we'll be done. But if you guys are in the Texas corridor, we want to be looking out for, again, some potentially tropical rain into this weekend. We've got this system that's been trying to develop as it moves towards the Yucatan Peninsula. Now that's not going to help it develop. Obviously it needs to be over water to continue to intensify. So not looking like there's going to be much as it's continuing to move over that direction, but we can see that it's starting to try and get organized as it develops more of that circular shape. Then once it hops off into the Gulf of Mexico over the next 5 days, that's when we start to see that jump in those formation chances. So 30% chance over the next 5 days, so over the weekend, that we could start to see this develop into a tropical system as it makes its way across the east coast of Mexico and up into Texas. So again, good news, bad news. That could help us out with the drought conditions, but we don't obviously want this to develop too much because, no one wants that. But we'll keep you guys updated on it. We'll let you know what's happening, and again, we'll keep you updated. But if you guys want to follow us, you can get us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as TikTok. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video. Then you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. You can also email us at info@hailtrace.com, or check out hailtrace.com for more details, and we'll keep you updated as always. But for now, I'm Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.